They're actually job creators, because it takes guts, grit, brain, etc. to immigrate and leave your family behind, especially if you're bright. Because if you're bright, you have options. Hey guys, Kareem Bebe here, fund manager entrepreneur. In this video, I'll be talking to you about the recent $100,000 per H1B visa that the Trump administration has recently enacted. Well, I really hope that eventually this will get reversed. For me, it's so obvious that imposing such a burden on U.S. companies is quite frankly unproductive for a number of reasons. One, the H1B visa recipients are not really competing with U.S. workers. The market really determines whether you're hireable or not. That's number one. Number two, the H1B visa is actually what made us in the US the technological leader so far, because we are attracting the best and the brightest to come and pursue advanced degrees and then come and join forces of either starting companies or joining the likes of Google, Microsoft, etc., etc., etc. So they're not competing with US workers. In fact, they are creating jobs. If you look at the constitution of Silicon Valley, if you look at who's leading our tech firms, majority of them are foreign born. So we didn't spend any tax dollars on their formation, meaning we get them for free. So technically we get the best and the brightest. So the governments, whether it's India or China, Russia, etc., they spend a tremendous amount of money, training them through elementary school, high school, college, universities. And then they just come in here and then they just pursue an advanced degree and a PhD. And we don't spend anything on them. And from day one, they start paying top dollar taxes. So you just, really missing the forest for the trees. You just want to limit $100,000, which is going to reduce the capacity of small firms to hire them. So it's only the bigs are going to become bigger. It's only the Microsofts and the Googles of the world and the Tesla, they're able to batch hire these. And the small, nimble company that really are making the difference, they won't be able to benefit from these super talented individuals. So it's a lose-lose. So let's not forget that we won World War II because we had the atomic bomb, and that was a technological advancement at the time. And guess what? The Manhattan Project scientists, 33% of them, 33% of them were foreign-born, the like of Enrico Fermi, etc., etc., etc. So without that weapon, we wouldn't have won the world, or God knows, maybe the world would have, I don't know, maybe Europe would be speaking German now. Who's pursuing PhDs in leading, actually across all universities, not even leading institutions in the US, in fields that matter. I'm talking about real hardcore scientific fields that will actually create the future. 44 to 55%, that is the ratio, are foreign born. 44 to 55%. In some actually feel it's close to 90%. And you know what the reason is? The reason is, multifold. Number one, the opportunity cost for the best and the brightest to pursue PhD is not as high as the ones in the US. So if you take equally bright individual, let's say in Zimbabwe versus somebody else in Michigan, well, the person who is bright in Zimbabwe doesn't want to pursue a PhD, I don't know, maybe in Zimbabwe, but would like to come to the US, because if he gets a PhD in Zimbabwe, he will be teaching, let's say at the university, there's no institutions, there's no deep research and development, and his salary will be, just pick a number, significantly less than a salary, let's say, of a professor, scientist, or certainly an entrepreneur in the US, versus somebody who's equally bright, he's in Michigan, gets straight A, goes to maybe Harvard, MIT, you name it, and then doesn't want to pursue a PhD because the opportunity cost is high, because he could be poached right from an undergraduate degree by Goldman or Google, etc., etc. The market will make that determination. So, nobody's displacing anybody at the peak of the pyramid. It's look at the guy that is running Google. Among the two folks that started Google, they could have hired all Americans, but they just, this guy's on his merit was able to be the same thing. The guy was running Microsoft. So all of these guys came via, an H1B route, best and the brightest, rose to the top. And these are just a few, and some of them create, it's not like they're displacing American workers, they're creating industries. They're actually job creators, because it takes guts, grits, brain, etc. to immigrate and leave your family behind, especially if you're bright. Because if you're bright, you have options. So we should really welcome these guys. Otherwise, China will absorb them, they will stay in India or God knows what, and we'll be losing. So quite frankly, imposing $100,000 just to kind of make the government a little bit bigger and make the big companies even bigger is actually a silly proposition, and I hope it will be reversed pretty soon. So I know this might sound really controversial to some, but I'm looking at it not of black and white. I look at it from what's good for technological advancement is good for America. And quite frankly, if we're going to lose our edge in terms of innovating, then guess what? Then I think we're just going to not become the number one. We're just going to see to number two, maybe number three. So keep it up. I think we should increase the H1B visa. We should increase the funnel. We should recruit the bigger pool of the best and the brightest, and we should make America more attractive for these folks to come over and innovate and create jobs. So with that said, I hope this was useful. You could agree, disagree, please link in the comment, and more importantly, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Till then, have a wonderful day.